Born to Run by Christopher McDougall. For days, I'd been searching Mexico's Sierra Madre for the phantom known as Caballo Blanco, the white horse. I'd finally arrived at the end of the trail in the last place I expected to find him. Not deep in the wilderness he was said to haunt, but in the dim lobby of an old hotel on the edge of a dusty desert town. "Si el Cabello esta?" the desk clerk said, nodding. "Yes, the horse is here." "For real?" After hearing that I'd just missed him so many times in so many bizarre locations, I'd begun to suspect that Cabello Blanco was nothing more than a fairy tale. A Loch Ness monster dreamed up to spook the kids and fool gullible gringos. "He's always back by 5, the clerk nodded. "It's like a ritual." I didn't know whether to hug her in relief or high-five her in triumph. I checked my watch. This meant I'd actually lay eyes on the ghost in less than... Hang on, it's already after 6. Kirk shrugged. Maybe he's gone away. I sagged into an ancient sofa. I was filthy, famished, and defeated. I was exhausted, and so were my leads. Some said Caballo Blanco was a fugitive. Others heard he was a boxer who'd run off to punish himself after beating a man to death in the ring. No one knew his name, or age, or where he was from. He was like some Old West gunslinger whose only traces were tall tales and a whiff of cigar smoke. Descriptions and sightings were all over the map. Villagers who lived impossible distances apart swore that they'd seen him travelling on foot that very same day. They described him on a scale that swung wildly from funny to freaky. He'd come to Mexico years ago and trekked deep into the wild, impenetrable copper canyons to live among the Tarahumara, the near-mythical tribe of Stone Age super-athletes. The Tarahumara may be the healthiest and most serene people on earth, the greatest runners of all time. When it comes to ultra distances, nothing can beat a Tarahumara runner. Not a racehorse, not a cheetah, not an Olympic marathoner. Very few outsiders have ever seen the Tarahumara in action, but amazing stories of their superhuman toughness and tranquility have drifted out of the canyons for centuries. One explorer swore he saw a Tarahumara catch a deer with his bare hands, chasing the bounding animal until it finally dropped dead from exhaustion. Another adventurer spent 10 hours climbing up and over a copper canyon mountain by mule. A Tarahumara runner did the same trip in 90 minutes. "Try this," a Tarahumara woman once told an exhausted explorer who'd collapsed at the base of a mountain. She handed him a cup of murky liquid. He swallowed a few gulps and was amazed to feel new energy pulsing in his veins. He got to his feet and scaled the peak like an over-caffeinated Sherpa. The Tarahumara, the explorer would later report, also guarded the recipe to a special energy food that leaves them in trim, powerful, and unstoppable condition. A few mouthfuls packed enough nutritional punch to let them run all day without rest. But whatever secrets the Tarahumara are hiding, they've hidden them well. To this day, the Tarahumara live in the side of cliffs higher than hawks' nests in a land that few have never seen. The Barrancas are a lost world in the most remote wilderness in North America, a sort of shore-bound Bermuda Triangle known for swallowing the misfits and desperados who stray inside. Lots of bad things happen down there. Can you survive the man-eating jaguars, deadly snakes, the blistering heat, and then you've still got to deal with canyon fever, a potentially fatal freakout brought on by the Barrancas' desolate eeriness. The deeper you penetrate into the Barrancas, the more it feels like a crypt sliding shut around you. The walls tighten, shadows spread, phantom echoes whisper. Every route out seems to end in sheer rock. Lost prospectors would be gripped by such madness and despair, they'd slash their own throats or hurl themselves off cliffs. Little surprised that few strangers have ever actually seen Tarahumara's homeland, let alone the Tarahumara themselves. But somehow, the white horse had made his way to the depths of the Barrancas, and there, it's said, he was adopted by the Tarahumara as a friend and kindred spirit, a ghost among ghosts. He'd certainly mastered 2 Tarahumara skills: invisibility and extraordinary endurance, because even though he was spotted all over the canyons, no one seemed to know where he lived or when he might appear next. If anyone could translate the ancient secrets of the Tarahumara, I was told, it would be this lone wanderer of the high Sierras. I'd become so obsessed with finding Caballo Blanco that as I dozed on the hotel sofa, I could even imagine the sound of his voice. Probably a bit like Yogi Bear, I mused. A guy like that, a wanderer who'd go anywhere but fit in nowhere, he must live inside his own head and rarely hear his own voice. I bet he'd make weird jokes and crack himself up. He'd have a booming laugh and atrocious Spanish. He'd be loud and chatty and. Hold on. I was hearing him. My eyes popped open to see a dusty cadaver in a tattered straw hat bantering with the desk clerk. Trail dust streaked his gaunt face like fading war paint, and the shocks of sun bleached hair sticking out from under the hat could have been trimmed with a hunting knife. He looked like a castaway on a desert island, even to the way he seemed hungry for conversation with the clerk. Caballo? I croaked. The cadaver turned, smiling. I felt like an idiot. He didn't look worried. He looked confused, as any tourist would when confronted by a deranged man on the sofa, suddenly shouting, "White horse!" This wasn't Caballo. There was no Caballo. The whole thing was a hoax, and I'd fallen for it. Then the cadaver spoke. "You know me?" "Man," I exploded, scrambling to my feet. "Am I glad to see you!" The smile vanished. The cadaver's eyes darted towards the door, making it clear that in another second he would as well.